Hello folks, Mark with Launchpad B coming in today with my very first behind-the-scenes video tutorial for product videography. We'll be doing a product shoot on a white background. It's a Amazon product. It's actually a pedestal for laundry detergent. And the challenge that I'm up against right now is that filming against a white background, not a big deal. I've got a big backdrop sheet of paper. It's about 10 feet long, this big roll. And you kind of angle it down onto a table, gives you a continuous white background. But in order to make the product rotate, we can use a slider that has a kind of the ability to turn as it slides, but I'll actually be using a turntable. Now the problem with the turntable is getting a shot where it's not visible in the shot. And so the purpose of this tutorial is to kind of walk you through that. So I'll start off by talking about the gear that we're using. We'll be using a turntable, obviously, and then I'll also be using lighting. And lighting is going to be important because we got to get the lighting set up in a way that it kind of masks out the turntable thing that I'm using. And then I'll also talk about the camera itself and the way that I'm setting up the aperture so I can kind of blur out the background a little bit, so that'll help as well. I'll just kind of show you how I do it, how to get the shot, and then I'll do another video later on, and that's the video I'll do is post-production, which will show how to edit that particular scene, because even everything I can do to capture it and make the turntable not visible, it's still kind of there. So I'll show you how to make it disappear completely in post-production. So again, welcome to the video. Let's go ahead and jump into the gear that I'm using. The product that I'm filming it's basically a laundry stand. And I was advocating to make this video just because these jugs literally leak laundry detergent all over my laundry room. So I wanted to find something that would solve that issue, and I came across this. The light that I have hanging directly over the product here is an Amaran 200X. It's made by Aperture, and it's actually pretty budget friendly considering what it does. To the left over here, we actually have a GVM light that I bought this on Amazon as a pair. This one is here. The other one I have in my garage illuminating my wife's pool table. On the other side over here, I do have a portable light with a battery pack. Now the thing about these lights, all three of these lights that's important, is that I have the ability to control the color temperature, meaning that I can change it from red to blue if I needed to kind of get the white balance correct. So whenever if you're looking to purchase lights, you haven't done so yet, make sure that you do get lights that have the ability to change color temperature, because it'll really help you to make sure that your lights align. And I'll show you why here in a second. Okay, so when it comes to the camera gear, the camera that we're using is a Sony FX3. It's basically an entry line cinema camera. It's actually a really amazing camera for the price. Not necessarily cheap, but it is definitely a solid option if you're getting into professional videography. The lens is a Sony G Master 16 to 35 millimeter. It works for up close like this. It's ideal for the size of the studio space. So we're gonna have the turntable is here, and then I've got this used to be just a manual bearing. I could just spin it, but I could actually center that on top of that so that I know that it's centered. That's just very important. I've also drawn a dot in here. That's like dead center in the middle of here as well. So I always want to verify that it's spinning dead center, right? Okay, now I'm just going to center the product on that dot, and I know we're in pretty good shape at that point. A little bit of fine tuning, but for the most part, you kind of get the gist of it. So what I'm doing now is I need to frame it up to make sure that it rotates and it's in frame. You see here how it's kind of going out of frame? So I can either zoom it back out here, or I can reposition if I need to. But we want to make sure that it's centered when it does its rotation. Looking pretty good. Okay, so going back to the color temperature of the light, it's gonna be important. If you look at the shot right now, you can see that there's a turntable and a background, right? So what I can do now is manipulate the lighting on either side to kind of blank that out. And so I'm gonna start with the lighting on the left, and I'm just gonna make it brighter. I can also adjust the color temperature to match. Right now it's a little too red, and if I shift it over to the blue, you'll see that that background, that line starts to disappear. See what I mean? And we want to get it to where it's just about gone. Okay, now we're going to do the same on the right-hand side. Okay, so at this point it's almost completely gone, which is fantastic. The turntable that I'm using is app-based. So essentially what you do is you're going to push record on your camera once you got it queued up. And then I'm going to hit, you got all these different options. I'm just going to make it rotate to the left. Okay folks, so that wraps up the production portion of this video. There'll be a second video coming out here shortly, which will be the post-production, where I'll use Premiere Pro and some editing techniques to make it look even more invisible or eliminate the turntable altogether from the shot and give the client what it is that they're looking for, which is a spinning product on a white background with nothing else visible. So stay tuned for that video. Thanks for watching.